Rabbi, why do you speak to people in parables? Jesus responded, because the secret knowledge of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Rabbi, why do you speak to people in parables? Jesus responded, because the secret knowledge of the kingdom of heaven has been given to you, but not to them. Greeting, guys. It is me here with the message of the kingdom of heaven. Guys, today I decided to open the scripture that I've been quoting from for a very, very long time. Guys, there are scriptures that I keep repeating, keep quoting from because they're important. But you find that I have not really, quoted from them, but I've been just mentioning them, So this scripture, I've been speaking so much about it, If you've been listening to this podcast, you will know that, okay, this is one of my scriptures, it's actually one of these scriptures, very, very important because you see, guys, you can't speak about the kingdom of heaven and ignore the sheep of God, because Jesus says this message has been given to you but not to the world, So I keep connecting the sheep of God with this message of the kingdom of heaven because they go together. In Israel, Jesus would go about within the vicinity of Israel and will speak to people in parables, because it says that without a parable, Jesus did not say anything. So whenever he was in public, he would open his mouth and speak in parables. But when he was alone with his disciples, he will then ask them, did you understand that parable? Did you understand that parable? And he will explain to them, guys. I mean, we've been doing parables. We've done parables, In fact, we've done about 60 or 75% of the parables, because they are all about the kingdom of heaven, Jesus was stressing the importance of this message of the kingdom of heaven. So his disciples recognized that this man is always speaking in parables when he speaks to the people. Guys, speaking in parables is like you're speaking in dark sayings. You speaking things that people do not understand. So Jesus spoke in dark sayings when he was speaking to the people. Hence, many did not understand the message of the kingdom of heaven. You see, guys, as it is, till this day, everyone, guys, has the Bible. You cross the street, you can kick it on your way without even seeing it, because it's just a book that is just, So Jesus hid the kingdom of heaven in plain sight. I don't know, guys, if you understand. He hid the kingdom of heaven in plain sight, and he writes this book. It's so thick, so tiny, yet so thick, and everyone has it, yet people don't understand this message of a kingdom of heaven. In other words, Jesus hid his message in plain sight, guys, in plain sight, and his disciples, they realize something is up here. In fact, there was a time where this dull guy of mine, Peter, guys, I love Peter. Peter is so dumb, like me, dumbish or dullish, whatever it is, So I like the guy. I'm pretty sure Jesus was amused by him. Anyway, there was this time, because they had realized that there were things that belonged to them, and there were things that Jesus spoke to the public, you understand, to those of the world. So because of realizing that, one time after he had spoken, Peter goes to him and asks him, teacher, was that for us or for them? Guys, you need to catch these things. You really need to catch these things. Peter goes to him and said, teacher, was that for us or for them? Because Peter understood that, well, Jesus has things that belongs to us, the sheep, and has things that he preaches to the world. You understand? So it's important also for you to understand that, you guys, you need to know how important you are to Jesus. Guys, until you realize that, until you get that, In fact, when you start bonding with them, when your relationships start becoming close with them, Jesus will himself tell you how important you are to him. He will tell you, you are very important to me, So he will, while he's admonishing you against sinning, he will tell you that it's because I love you. It's because I don't want to lose you. You are important to me, So Jesus has that tendency of making you feel special, of making you feel important, and he will let you know. He will not hide it. Guys, Jesus doesn't hide his love. Guys, if there's one person I've met in life who doesn't hide how he feels, it's Jesus. He doesn't hide how he feels. That's why you will often hear him, speaking to the disciples. He'll say, I love you. Just like the Father loves me, I love you. Remain in my love by obeying my commands, just like I remained in my Father's love by obeying his commands. You understand? So, guys, when it comes to love, Jesus doesn't hide that. He doesn't know how to hide the love. That guy is still the same. He doesn't change, he is love, I call him Mr. Bombastic, because it's Mr. Lava Lava, Nevertheless, here, guys, I wanted to quote this from this scripture because I've been I've been mentioning it a lot, and I know some of you are hearing these scriptures for the first time or paying attention to them for the first time, but I pay attention to them because I cannot speak about the kingdom of heaven and not include or not connect it to the sheep, because the message of the kingdom of heaven is for the sheep, is not for the world. So I will always keep connecting, understand. I'll speak about the kingdom of heaven and I'll speak about the sheep, because that's what it is. And my messages, guys, they are not for the world. You understand? If you want to hear the messages of earthly riches, you never going to hear that from me. If you want to hear the messages about earthly blessings, you're not going to hear that from me. If you want to hear the messages about money, you're not going to hear that from me. But if you want to hear the message of the kingdom of heaven, then you will hear that from me. And I will tell you, you're important to Jesus, how important you are to Jesus. Because that guy is not a giver of money, is not a giver of earthly riches, and is not a giver of earthly blessings. You understand? He is Mr. Lava Lava. You understand? He wants his sheep, he wants your soul to be preserved. Because by the time you leave here, the only ticket you have to getting to his kingdom is your living soul. So that's what he is interested in. Guys, I don't know if you've heard me, because I've been saying this, because most of the time, people will be like, you don't care about money and stuff and what, as if like I'm against the money. Guys, I made you understand, this thing about money, that it did not come from God. It did not come from Jesus. That's why they're against it. It came after Adam had died spiritually, after he had obeyed Satan and died spiritually, and Satan took over the earth and became the God of this age. You understand? After Adam was under the administration of the kingdom of darkness, under the rulership of Satan, under the governance of Satan. You understand? So money was then produced, because Adam in the Garden of Eden, he was to blacken it. Then after he died spiritually, he was banished. Then Satan took over. Then money came about. So money did not come from God. Money did not come from Jesus. So they don't care about money. But they do understand that we are born under that kingdom. They do understand that we were born spiritually dead with the seed of Satan. You understand? Because we partook of Satan's seed after what Adam had done. You understand? It wasn't our fault. So the setup is the way it is. It didn't change even after Jesus came back from the cross with keys. Because it says authority in heaven and on earth has been given to me. Go and make disciples of all nations. So he came back with the keys. But because the setup had not changed, so he did not tell us not to have money. That's why the Bible doesn't say do not have money. It says do not love money. Loving money is when you're doing things at the expense, you understand, of obeying his word. I'll make an example once, I remember I was doing my driver's license, So I went and I was busy doing it. And the instructor was like, okay, now we're going for a test. And I was like, all right. And he says, you need to make sure that you've got such and such amount. And I was like, what for? I've already paid for the test. And he said, no, you're not going to pass. And what do you mean you are my teacher? What have you teaching me? What have you been teaching me? And he says, no, it's not about what I've been teaching you. If you don't bribe, you ain't gonna pass. And I'm like, what the heck? What are you talking about? Guys being naive and all. And he says, if you bribe, the moment you get to that car, you give him the envelope. They call it the brown envelope. You give him the envelope. And then he knows that he's going to do whatever wrong you are doing. He's going to correct it. Then you will pass. And I told him, well, I can't do that. And he was like, why? And I said, well, I'm a Christian, so we don't bribe. And he was like, but Christians also do the same thing. All of them, they do the same thing. I am a teacher of Christians. Christians come here, but they bribe. And I was like, there's something you don't understand. Oh, first he said to me, because we were just discussing, it was just a discussion, a good one at that. He was saying that, but bribing, you're not killing anyone. You're not doing anything wrong to anyone. You have not stolen anyone's money. You are taking from your money and you're bribing so that you can pass. And I said to him, in the kingdom of heaven, they have their rules, they have their laws. Bribing is against the laws of the kingdom of heaven. And then he was like, so you rather be without a license because you're not going to have it. I said, well, if that's the case, then so be it. It's not a requirement for me to enter heaven. Guys, having a driver's license is not a requirement. Don't we have Uber? Don't we have Bolt? I mean, guys, hello.